Sunday morning. What day is it again, Danny?
5th.
Just checking. We're here with Danny Chan, or Denny Chan. We're in San Mateo right now. We're just doing the neat little deck review here of his Landstill deck.
2K11.
That's all on the main board. Sideboard. Now that we've seen all the cards, Danny, can you tell us about the deck?
Okay, so Landstill has been in Legacy for a long time, you know. So since the reprint of Mental Misstep right here, so those of you who doesn't know Mental Misstep is one of the new release Pyrexia card. One Phyrexian blue mana, counter target spell with converted mana cost 1. This card basically resurrects the whole control archetype. That's including Landstill. And with, you know, those of you who know me already, I always play counterbalance. Since counterbalance is almost unplayable anymore in the current meta, I decided to switch to Landstill. So let's go over the mana base first. Mana base is actually
Hold on,
very
Danny.
simple.
Let me switch over.
Okay. Mana base is actually very simple. A lot of people prefer to play 8 fetches. I actually prefer to play 6 fetches, so that I can have some room for more basic land. So those of you who doesn't know what these are, so the Flutter Strand fall off, of course, because the blue-white is the main color. We have 1 Polluted Delta and 1 Marsh Flag. So if you look at the fetch land base, there's 5 fetch land that can fetch for plane. There are 5 fetch land. There are 2 fetch land that can fetch for swamp, but I don't run any basic swamp. But there are 5 fetch land that can also fetch for island. So it make it kind of simple, elegant mana base that is very, you know, simple to fetch. You know, most of the time I can fetch for basic plane almost any time I want. I can fetch for basic island any time I want.
Excellent.
Okay? Very simple.
Excellent.
So I go for, instead of I go for 4 Tundra, since I do a little splash of black, I do 3/3. 3 Tundra and 3 Underground Sea.
Compromising.
Yep. And then let's go to the Landstill base right here. So this is the Landstill specialty. 4 Mistral Factory and 3 Wasteland. Originally, I only had 1 Wasteland. I had another plane and I had another Academy Ruin. It's not like Academy Ruin is not good, it's really slow. It does steal a game or two, but it doesn't win the game like Wasteland does.
Unless you're playing a mill matchup.
Yeah, and then I cut the plane because I'm gonna go over the inclusion of my deck later, which I completely cut Elspeth and Wrath of God. So I'm gonna talk about that later on. So I cut the basic plane for another Wasteland. I cut another Academy Ruin for another Wasteland. So I'm packing 3 Wasteland. Okay, so total, the standard land base, 24 land right here. Okay, 24 land, no Eternal Dragon, 24 land. Okay, so let's talk about the next part, which nobody's gonna argue about in the any blue blaze control deck in Legacy. The Force of Will. Okay, I don't think I need much explanation. Sword to Plowshare, Brainstorm. Okay, so these are the Legacy stable that I'm pretty sure everybody familiar with already. So I'm not gonna explain much. So I'm gonna talk about 3-offs. If you guys see it, I actually pack a lot of 3-offs in my deck, which is kind of weird but in a way, since the deck list is so tight, you know, the 3 offs with all the with the brainstorm right here, and the sensei top, and with the Jace, I can actually find any one copy very quickly. So let's talking about the permission base. So the permission base, I run 4 Force of Will here, and 3 mental misstep, which we use to counter Ether Vow. Mainly, Ether Vow is the Landstill worst enemy. Ether Vow make Landstill unplayable before. Now with mental misstep print, this deck, you know, just got another tool to beat any Ether Vow deck. So I played 3 mental misstep, 3 counterspell. Counterspell is actually really solid in the late game, but I don't want them to caught them in my hand early game. So 3 off is about right, and 3 spell snare, which right now is very good. Counter Stoneforge Mystic, Bob, you know, Termagorth, him is a big card that cripple Landstill.
Yeah.
Yep. So these are permission based. So you see, I run 13 counters. Okay. 13 counters, and each of them have different uses. Besides Force of Will, of course. You know, you have the early game permission, the late game permission right here. Okay. So let's talk about the Jaw Engine. So Jaw Engine, of course, we have a Landstill deck, right? We have 3 Landstill, 3 Standstill. The reason I don't have 4 Standstill, because I found them, I side them out sometime in the mirror matchup, especially Control is very popular archetype in my meta right now. And then, let's talk about the Jace Ballerin here. Why do I have the Jace Ballerin? The Jace Ballerin is actually my flash slot.
Hold on, Danny.
Okay, yeah. The Jace Ballerin used to be my flash slot. It used to be an Elspeth, but since I decided to cut the basic white for another wasteland, I figure I should cut all the double white card. That brings me to another card, Vadakan Shackle. So the slot Vadakan Shackle is on. It used to be Wrath of God. They do win games. Wrath of God is still very good in a certain situation, but then it doesn't take over the board like what Vadakan Shackle does. Okay, so this is my flag slot. The Jace Ballerin is my flag slot. It can be another Mind Sculptor here. It could be the 4th Standstill. It could be an Elspeth. It could be a Wrath of God. So this is the flag slot right here. And then Engineer Explosive. Not much to say here. It's, you know, a way for us to get rid of permanent. So we play 3 color. So anything below 3 converted mana cost or below, we can take them all out. Very simple. For Vadakan Shackle, my deck actually run a lot of island if you count. So if you count the fetch land, the dual land, and the basic land,
6,
that is, I believe,
10. That's 10.
That's 16 way to get island. Okay, 16 way to get enough island. So, yep.
10 islands.
The Sensei top right here, the Sensei Defining top right here is a fixed out draw. I used to run 3, but I found them, I draw them all the time, and they're calling on top of my library. So I decided to cut it and run 2 instead. And I found them all the time anyway. So they were actually working very good, helped me fix my draw. You know, they do their job. Jason Mind Sculptor. Nothing much really to say about that card. It's probably one of the best 4 drop right now.
Until something
in
better,
the legacy.
Until
yes.
something better comes along.
Well, but right now, Jason Mind Sculptor. We play Control because of that card. And then the one-off Crucible of World. Crucible of World, especially right now, there's so many Control mirror. Having Wasteland Lock is very important. Also, it gives us a way to recur Mistral Factory, the mainland, and help us beat down.
If they haven't sniped it yet.
Yeah. And then it also helps us generate card advantage by recurring fetch land to ensure that we get land drop every single turn. Okay? So these are pretty much the main for now. Okay?
Yep. This is the main. Now let's move to the sideboard.
Oh, the sideboard, I actually keep it very simple because, yep, simple is always the best when you know how to play your deck. When you don't know how to play your deck, make everything simple, don't make things too complicated. So, the notable inclusion that is different than other Landstill are the buffs. Why do I have the bobs?
Everyone's scratching their head right
Yep.
now.
Bobs is actually really good. They usually against an unfavorable matchup such as Merfolk or another control mirror or some way that they cannot deal with creatures. I would side out my Landstill in the main and put in my bobs as another card draw engine. And usually game 1, I try to hide my Underground Sea so they don't see that I splash black. So most of my opponent will side out their removal in game 2. And that's the time when these bobs come in to take over the game.
And that's around the time where you surprise them.
Yep, and it happened many times already. This is the time when you play strategically not to fetch the Underground Sea. And when game 2, when you start fetching Underground Sea and play Bob, they're not gonna expect a thing. When they silence all their removal. And you take over the game with bees.
Yep.
Peacekeeper. Okay, so Bob pretty much say these kind of like my flash slot right here. So these 11 slot, I change them up all the time. So let's talk about, they all serve multiple purpose. So let's talk about the Vendilion Click first. Vendilion Click is probably the easiest. Vendilion Click is for the control matchup. Okay, it's actually very good tool to combat opponent Jays when you play EOT. Okay. Not much to say. V-Click. V-Click, if you guys know me long enough, one of my favorite creature of all time. Really, it's that good. It's really good. Let's talk about the Tamor Script. Tamor Script, nothing much we need to say. Address Dredge matchup, which is one of the worst Landstill matchup. You know, I mean, having some kind of hate is better than having no hate, right?
Yep.
Yep. So let's talk about the Parish, Lawan, and Peacekeeper. They actually serve about the same purpose to stop the aggro strategy. So as you see, if you notice, there's a lot of progenitors that natural order that are very popular right now. The No Rug and the No Man. Some of these cards deal with all those strategies. Like Parish and Lawan, they go in against progenitor stack. And they go in against progenitor stack because these are more efficient answer than Wrath of God against those that. Pretty much. That's another reason why I decided to take out the Wrath of God. They serve multiple purpose. The Lawan and the Peacekeeper on the top address the Merfolk matchup, which we have 5 ways to store the board to get Jays online. The Peacekeeper also good against Mud and Affinity. You just have to make sure you answer the Tesseract. Land the Peacekeeper out, answer the Tesseract. Then they got no ways to kill you.
They're stuck.
Yeah. They got no ways to kill. So these 7 slot, I use it to address the aggro matchup. The matchup that they rely on their creature a lot. And then, yeah. And each of them they overlap the same objective to reset the board. We use it to reset the board or store the board until I get Jays online. So that's pretty much it.
Well, this is VDU and Danny in San Mateo.
Yep, if there's any suggestion, feel free to post it on YouTube, let me know. I'm always looking for new suggestions to improve the deck.
Or you can post a video response to this video. Thanks for watching.